Uh, Hello everyone. I Krunal Siddhates from the Electrical Department, PIT. Welcome all of you at this platform for the webinar on importance of power electronics in power system. Our speaker is Mr. Mullo Rathod sir, who is Director of Intraj Electronics Private Limited and its his new startups. The product of this particular company are on-grid inverters, off-grid inverters, and all type of the UPS they are providing. And also they are providing solution as per the client requirements. Mullo sir has 12 years experience in teaching at SVIT Vasa as an assistant professor. On the behalf of Parul University and Electrical Department, I welcome you and hands over this particular sessions. So please, sir.
Thank you.
Welcome, sir.
Will I see this? Hello?
Yes, sir. Are you audible, sir?
Good. So, hello everyone. Hope all are happy and safe during this corona time. Today, I here to introduce power electronics as the importance of power electronics in power system. And by this introduction, you can understand that how to use this power electronics, where it is used, how to understand better why it is necessary in your academic syllabus, and what is the opportunity in the recent scenario. So now let me start. What is power electronics? Power electronics is the application of solid state electronics, or you can say solid state devices, to the control and conversion of electric power. As per the name, power electronics, basically here we control the power from few milliwatt to the megawatt operation. With the power consumption of this power electronics devices in a microwatt to milliwatt. Okay, so here I listed a basic advantage of power electronic system. It's high efficiency provider. As per the sentence, high efficiency, that means there is low loss. So whenever you use any kind of control or any kind of mediator to control particular application, that control mechanism or mediator always having a low loss. If that mechanism required more power to control particular application, that means it is useless. So here we use a particular static devices to control the power, and we feed that control power or control voltage or control frequency in particular application. And whatever the consumption of that static devices, it is in microwatt to the milliwatt as per the application. High reliability of power electronics converter system. What do you mean by high reliability? Means if you use any mechanical switches, in that case some problem take place, like transient, like arc, spot welding. So after some age or after some time, we have to replace that mechanical switch. But here, there is no any mechanical movement or mechanical contact in this solid state devices. So there is no any arc or no any gases is produced. So it's more reliable. Long life and less maintenance. As I say, long life, that means there is no wear and tear, no any spot welding take place in the static devices because there is no any moving contact present. And maintenance, obviously there is no wear and tear, no any arc is present, so there is no maintenance is required. One thing is required, how to cool down or how to maintain that particular condition to reduce the temperature of particular devices. That is requirement. That's not a maintenance. It is a maintain. Okay. Long life, flexibility in operation. Obviously, it's a flexible devices. Okay, we can use or we can move it from one state to the other state, or we can use same circuitry in particular different application. So it is a flexible. Fast dynamic response compared to electromechanical converter system or electromechanical switches. So we see it later how it fast device. Small size and less weight. The low installation cost. Obviously, size of solid state device is very low and weight also less. So we can install easily and whatever the installation cost is less. So here we talk about power electronics. So not only a power electronics devices or converter control all the things. Okay, it requires something to make, it requires something to control it, to control the energy, control the process, control the motor or drive, or to make a power supply. Basically, a power electronics is made by power electronics devices, circuitries, magnetic circuitries, or by using a semiconductor devices. And how to control? For that, we required microcontroller, okay, or DSP, digital signal processor, to control or take a feedback from the power electronics and give proper control mechanism to improve the process, improve the power, decrease the losses. And why we do this? For the energy processing, for the particular application of the motor or particular application of the drives, or to make a proper power source. It is known as SMPS, switch mode power supply. So this is the introduction of power electronics, and as I say, how to use it, where it is used, and what is the necessity in your syllabus. For that, let me start a basic thing, that is switch. And in power electronics, only one thing is present, that is switch. So here we see the Maya of switch. That means importance of switch. Power electronics इतना tough subject नहीं है जितना आप मानते हो. As a TY student or LY student, and especially for the SY student. Maya of switch, that means here I shown one switch. This one. It is a piano switch, or you can say single pole, single throw switch. It is widely used in electric wiring, in domestic purpose, commercial purpose, or as well as industrial purpose. What is drawback of this switch? It's a mechanical switch basically, so obviously there is some contact move to close or open. So what do you mean by switch? It is nothing but to make the circuit or break the circuit, or to on the supply or switch circuit, or to break the circuit of the circuit. So obviously some mechanical movement take place, so there will be some friction between the contact take place, and due to the friction some arc is present, and if this arc is continuous for the long time, then there will be some spot welding between the contact. So here you can say, you can show the basic symbol of the switch. This is the contactor, which is right now, whenever you apply the force, it will be forced. So here, somewhat spark is present. If this spark is enough to melt this tip, immediately spark welding take place. That means this tip is welded with this connection contactor. So it's called failure of switch. The switch is completely closed. So why this happened? Because of the friction, because of the transient voltage, or because of the arc is present between the contactor. That is the drawback of this switch. Second thing, size. Obviously, you see this switch in your house, the size is nearly 2 inch or 1.5 inch. Third, operating time. What is operating time of this switch? Piano type switch. It is operating time is nothing but the on and off time. So how much time it take to on the circuit and how much time it take to off the circuit. So near about half of second. So on time is quarter half and off time is also. So total time is half of second. Now tell me how many cycle pass during this half cycle? 25 cycle. What is the frequency? The frequency is nothing but the 1 upon on and off time. So here on and off time is half. The frequency is 2 Hz. So can you give the answer? Can we use this switch as a voltage regulation, or can we use this switch in voltage regulation purpose? Is this possible? No. Why? For the voltage regulation purpose, we have to control the phase angle. What do you mean by phase angle? Is the sine wave supply. This is a 0. It starts from 0. So right now phase angle is 0. If I start this waveform from 0, sorry, from this point. So right now at this point, what is the voltage? Something near to the maximum, or you can say 80% of the maximum voltage. So how much time it need to turn on? If we find out the time of the cycle, how much time? 0.02 second. That means 20 milliseconds is required for complete one cycle, and half of 10 milliseconds, and half of that half 5 milliseconds. Like 80% of the maximum is 80% of the 5 milliseconds. That means how much? 4 milliseconds. Can we turn on our this mechanical switch within this time? No, because it takes half second. So limitation of this switch is this: we cannot use for the regulation purpose. We only use this switch for the making and breaking. And this limitation is overcome by solid state devices, or you can say power electronics devices. Here I take example of MOSFET. This is the MOSFET. And here I connect basic circuit. One DC supply is connected to the MOSFET drain. Source is ground of the DC source. And gate terminal is connected with the RJ. It is used to limit the current. And one gate. Now, what is the operating time of this MOSFET? So, as we know, what is operating time? It is on and off time. On time also divided into turn on delay time. So how much it takes for the delay and time it needed for getting a maximum voltage or maximum current. It is rise time. So unknown delay time is near about 15 nanoseconds. Rise time 10 nanoseconds. Same for the off time delay, it is 30 nanoseconds, and fall time. That means how much time it needed to fall the current to the zero. It is 25 nanoseconds. So let's sum out this. So it is nearly 80 nanoseconds. It required to turn off. How much time is required to turn off? 80 nanoseconds. Now comparing. This is the mechanical switch. It required half second to turn on and off. And this is 80 nanoseconds to turn on. Now can you tell me what amount of cycle is passed within this time? Our one cycle required 20 milliseconds. Half 10 milliseconds. Half of half 5 milliseconds. And half of this 5 milliseconds is 2.5 milliseconds. Still, this time is not reached. It is 80 nanoseconds. Then what is the operating frequency of this? 1 upon on and off time is 1 upon 80 nanoseconds. It is 12.5 megahertz. And what is this? 2 megahertz. Piano switch. Now you can compare these two. This switch is used for make and break the circuit. We can use this MOSFET for the same purpose, make and break the circuit. We can replace this switch by MOSFET. And recent scenario, you can see that automatic street light or automatic home appliances on and off mechanism is provided, or Alexa. You know the Alexa, Google. Okay, Alexa, please on the switch, on the tube light, on the AC, on the lamp, on the fan. That means it is controlled by Alexa. It is simple, nothing but the microcontroller, and it gives signal to particular devices. Can we give signal to this mechanical switch? No. Here, there is no any electrical signal is required. We cannot apply any electrical signal here. We have to apply mechanical force. U. Then and then this will be on. Otherwise, it remains off. Or same for the reverse process. Here, you can give signal by the microcontroller. This MOSFET. So there is no any physical requirement of your. Only one signal is required. Just give the signal. Immediately your MOSFET is on, and obviously your circuit is closed. So same MOSFET, same device we can use for on and off mechanism. Second drawback of the switch, mechanical switch, we cannot use this for the regulation purpose. This is a drawback, and this will be overcome by the MOSFET. Not only MOSFET, there are so many devices available in power electronics. We start from diode. One is diode, then transistor, then the UJT unijunction transistor, EOT programmable unijunction transistor, then thyristor, GTO, gate turn off thyristor, IGBT, MOSFET. There are so many devices. And why this device is, there is so many types, because according to the application. So according to the application, according to the source, devices come into the picture. For example, let me take the switch, mechanical switch. Here, can you say me this is a fully controlled device, or semi-controlled device, or uncontrolled device? So let me bifurcate device, switching device in three ways: uncontrolled switch, semi-controlled switch, and fully controlled switch. What do you mean by uncontrolled switch? Uncontrolled switch means there is no any control in your hand of that switch. ये switch को देखो, there is control in your hand. Whenever you apply force, switch is on. Whenever again you apply reverse force, switch is on. There is some force is required. What about here? MOSFET. You need some electrical force to turn on. And remove the electrical force. No. So it is a control device, obviously. This is also control device. So what about uncontrolled? Uncontrolled, that means there is not in your hand. It automatically on. How it automatically on? According to the source in terminal, or you can say whatever you give the source, DC or AC, or according to the load. So if you consider diode, SY student, LY student, and LY student, all are know that when diode is on, whenever voltage difference across diode, that means anode voltage of the diode minus cathode voltage of the diode, VAK difference must be greater than 0.7, especially for silicon, and must be greater than 0.4, especially for germanium made diode. Then and then that device will be on. One thing. Second thing, of turn on condition. The first thing is you have to apply forward voltage. What do you mean by forward voltage? VA minus VK must be greater than positive. If VA minus VK is get negative, that means VA voltage, anode side voltage is less than cathode side voltage, then it is reverse. Second thing is whatever the current is passed through the device, diode especially, that must be flow from anode to cathode. Okay, whatever the current is passed from anode to cathode, if this happens, then and then device will be on. If positive difference is applied across device and you apply reverse current, then what happens? See how much reverse current is flow, and then see the internal resistance. It's already given in data sheet. So just multiply I into R, reverse current multiplied by the R. So you have something voltage. If this voltage is greater than your forward voltage, then what is total difference? It is negative. That means your device is turned off. So not only the forward voltage is dependent, it's also depend on current. If voltage across anode and across diode is greater than 0.7, then device is on. It's not right. You need forward current also. That means anode to cathode. So how your device is on? Whenever you apply or supply give voltage greater than 0.7, or how it off? Supply take the voltage or give voltage less than 0.7. So turn on and off condition depend on voltage. Same thing, current. If current flow through the device, now from anode to cathode, device is on. If current is reverse from cathode to anode, again device is off. So there is not in your hand current flow from the source or flow from the load. So according to the source condition or according to the load condition, device is on and off. So it is called uncontrolled device. Okay. Second thing, what do you mean by semi-controlled device? The semi-controlled device is nothing but, as per the name, semi-control. You have two control, on and off. Now semi, that means you have only one control, on or off. So basically we control the on time. Okay. So if you control the on, how will you control? Let me take this switch again. Let me apply push. Switch is on. After some time, if this switch is automatically closed, that means it is called semi-control. Okay. Whenever you apply the force here, switch is closed. That means circuit is closed. And after some time, somehow, if current is reversed or something voltage difference take place across the device is less than something voltage requirement, then immediately this device is reversed. So you control only on condition. Off is not in your hand. That means it is called semi-controlled device. What about fully controlled device? That means you have on and off control in your hand or by the circuit. Here again, let me take the switch. apply the force, switch is on, reverse force, immediately switch is off. So this switch is, we can say that it is a fully controlled device. That means you have to go for the on and you have to go for the off. You have to apply on force, you have to apply off force. Same for this. This is the MOSFET. That we apply the force. That means that we apply electric force. Whenever you apply electric force to here, that means something required voltage. 5 volt, 6 volt, 10 volt, or 12 volt, or 15 volt to the gate voltage, to the gate terminal of the MOSFET, and then device will be on. Okay, this is already connected. See, supply is already connected to the drain and source. But whenever you apply gate voltage, then and then this device will be closed. Otherwise, it remains off. So here you can say this is simple. Whenever I apply 5 volt, then device is on. Whenever I remove 5 volt, immediately device is off. So it is called fully controlled device. So this is the types of devices which is comes in your syllabus: uncontrolled, semi-controlled, and fully controlled. Hope you understand this. Now, our main question: can we use this switch for the regulation? No. The regulation, no. Frequency regulation, no. Power regulation, we cannot regulate any parameter of the electrical voltage by this switch. Can we use this switch? Yes. Why? Because our operation, our MOSFET operating time is in nanosecond and our cycle time is in millisecond. Obviously, nanosecond is less than milliseconds. We can control any phase of the supply. And same, you can control the frequency. So let me see. So let me go for the conventional technique for changing the voltage. So here I have AC source. So how will you change the supply voltage? I want to give variable voltage to the load. For example, induction motor is connected. I want to go for the practical speed versus torque characteristic. So what we have to do? We have to change the torque or load according to that we have to see the speed. Or if you change the speed, what is the difference take place in the torque? So for that purpose, we have to apply variable voltage. Right now we have 220 voltage, 50 hertz fix. For that variation, we use this is all. How it connected like this. Whenever you change this position, carbon plus position, according to that your voltages, you want to do. If this carbon position is here, that means you give maximum voltage to the load, that is motor operate at maximum speed. If this terminal is half of winding, that means half of the voltage you apply, because only N d phi by dt. Here this is the trans N. Right now d phi by dt means it is given by the source. Okay. So right now you apply only half of the turns, that means N by 2 d phi by dt. So you get half voltage of the source. So you apply half voltage of the source to the motor, that means your speed is half. And right now, if you put this carbon plus here, then what happens? Your voltage is 0. Your motor is stopped. Now, what is the drawback of the system? What is the drawback of system? As we seen in earlier in second slide, whatever you take a control mechanism or mediator to control the process or to control the speed or to control the power, that must be consume less power. Because main thing is efficiency. Let me see. Let me put 1 meter here, energy meter. And 1 meter here, 1 energy meter put here. What is the difference? Here, this is the node. So let me take induction motor. And it is a 1 HP. Or let's say 1500 watt. DC, AC. Now it operates at maximum load condition. That means maximum torque is applied, maximum mechanical load is applied with some induction motor. So it take maximum current from the source, and here I put this carbon brush to the maximum terminal. That means maximum voltage already applied. Now, what power consumed by this induction motor? That measured by this meter, energy meter. So we measured 1500 watt because that is the maximum rating of the induction. Obviously, this meter indicates that. But what indicates this meter? It indicates consumption of this auto transformer plus this induction. So obviously, whatever the energy consumed by this mechanism or whatever the indication here, that must be greater than this because power loss or whatever the energy consumed by this transformer, that also included here. So what type of power loss takes place in auto transformer? Here is the construction. Copper winding is placed. So if you rewound this copper winding and stretch it, you find something length L. What is the diameter of the conductor? So you find out the A. And what is the equation for the R? R is equal to rho, resistivity of the conductor of the copper, rho L by E. We have the length, we have the area, now we have the resistivity of the copper, so find the something R. So that is the resistance. So obviously I square R losses take place. Then you can see copper losses. What is second losses take place? ID current. Then hysteresis losses. It is magnetic losses. And what is third losses take place? That is friction losses. But ऐसा भी क्वेश्चन होगा कि इसमें कैसे friction losses? It's not a moving material. Obviously, here you change the voltage by carbon brush. So whenever you change the position of the carbon brush, there will be some spark difference. It's called friction losses. So you have to calculate these three types and add into the consumption of the induction motor. That will be a total consumption of your system. So drop of this system or power loss of this system, here we list out that we go for second, so you can compare this. What's this? Here we apply DC source to the rheostatic method to vary the voltage. Then AC supply, then rheostat, then transformer. Let me remove this rheostat or this transformer and let me connect here one DC motor. And here DC supply, 117 volt DC supply, rheostat, and one is connected. Now rating of this motor is again 1500 watt. I put this rheostat into zero position. That means you apply 117 volt maximum to the DC motor, and you apply maximum load, mechanical load. That means maximum consumption takes place. That means 1500 watt is consumed by this motor. That will be indicated by this meter. Now I want to change the speed. What you have to do? You have to change the voltage. How will you change? This voltage is fixed. How will you change? By rheostat. If you change the resistance or rheostat, whatever, that would take this position and half of this resistance. So whatever current flow in this way, half of the conductor of the rheostat, then this terminal and back, then load and back to the source. So I square R or whatever IR drop takes place here. What is IR drop? It is a voltage drop. So here you apply 117 volt and this will be the drop of the voltage IR. So 117 minus IR, and that is the supply given voltage to the. You can regulate the voltage by rheostat. But what is losses take place here? If you measure the energy, the source side, it is nothing but the addition of this rheostat as well as motor. Because I square R losses take place in rheostat, and again motor consumption. So can you justify or can you compare among of these two techniques? or voltage regulation or voltage variation is having a high losses. Obviously, electrostatic method having a higher power loss as compared to the cross method. So we can adopt this. But there is a drawback. Here your supply is DC. Can we use DC here? No, because transformer is connected. Auto transformer. So whenever you apply DC, transformer is saturated. Give variable voltage. It will be short immediately. So there will be some limitation. Here only we give AC supply. We cannot apply DC. Here we can apply AC and DC. Now we have something other circuitry which regulate the AC voltage or which regulate the DC voltage. And better than this too, higher efficiency, reliability. We have static switch circuit. Now let us take first example. I want to control the AC supply. So this is my AC supply. Here I give supply AC. Okay. Now you can see this is the thyristor. This arrow indicate the current direction. This current direction flow from this side to this side. Then this device is on. What is the condition? You have to apply the signal, gate signal. ये आपका करंट यहाँ से यहाँ जा रहा हो, लेकिन आपने गेट नहीं दिया, ये डिवाइस ऑन नहीं हो सकता. So it is a control device, okay, not diode. So whenever you apply forward voltage and you apply the gate, device is on. So we get voltage here. Now at this point, zero voltage. Voltage across device is 0. Again, thyristor require minimum 0.7 volt because it is silicon device. So it requires a minimum 0.7 volt for the conduction. What is voltage now? This is 0. So device is automatically off. For the negative of cycle, this will be reverse bias. So what we require? We require reverse device and anti-current device connected across thyristor T1. Connecting anti-current. So now reverse current flowing this way, and we apply the gate pulse, device is on, circuit is closed. We get voltage here. What is my requirement? I want maximum voltage, a full cycle. Okay. So how will you apply full cycle? Trigger the device at this point. See the cursor at this point. The positive obstacle you have to give the gate signal to thyristor at this point. You can say whenever your supply voltage is 0.7, immediately at that point you have to apply the gate signal. Not bother about this condition. It will be turned off automatically. Okay. Now for the negative cycle condition, you have to give the gate signal. Or you can say whenever the 0.7 voltage appear across the thyristor T2, immediately you apply the gate signal. You make proper control circuit to get that voltage. You have to apply zero crossing detector. So find out the zero crossing and then give the spike or gate signal from that zero crossing. So you can make that. So it acting as a switch. Now I want to regulate. What do you have to do? See here in this circuit you can see this is my source. AC. And I start this thyristor at this point. After this delay, my supply start from 0 and my load voltage start from 0. And let me say this angle is alpha. So whenever, no doubt, forward voltage is present across device, but it waits for the gate signal. Whenever you apply the gate, immediately device is on. But what is the voltage appear at that time? This much of voltage is appear across the load. So immediately device is on and we get this upside. At this point, no need of gate signal to turn off. It automatically off. So we can say that device is semi-controlled device. Means you need gate signal to turn on. It will be off according to the source or according to the load. So whenever your source is 0, device is off. Okay. So here I block this much of voltage. So remaining voltage is present across the load. Okay. Same for the negative. So if you find out the average and RMS. What is average value of this wave? It's zero. If you find out the RMS value of full cycle, then you will get Bm. That is the maximum value. Bm. Right? Root 2 pi. Root 2 pi minus 2 alpha plus sine 2 alpha. What is alpha? This is delay angle. It is nothing but the output voltage angle, difference between supply angle minus output. So, if you put Vm maximum 220 voltage into root 2 pi minus 2 alpha, right now here I take alpha is equal to something 60 degree. So, pi minus 2 alpha is 120. 360 minus 120 plus sine 2 alpha, sine 120. You get something voltage. Let me take this phase angle is equal to supply. Alpha is 0. So, what is this? Alpha. Alpha is 0 means minus sine 2 0. Sine 0 0 plus 2 pi. Okay. So 2 pi multiply by under 2 pi, that will be cancelled out. So what is your output? ALRMS, that is equal to maximum. Why maximum value? Because you give maximum per whole cycle to the load. So if whenever you change alpha, your output voltage is changed. This is AC. Okay. Now I want DC only. So what do you have to do? Neglect this or remove this device. So negative half cycle is automatically removed. So our supply is AC. Now you regulate this. So only positive half cycle present at the output side. Find out average value. You get something average value of the full cycle. That means your output having a DC source. Okay. So same this circuitry can use as a DC voltage regulator, and the same circuitry we can use as a DC voltage regulator. So this is the conventional and advanced technology of voltage regulation. Now for better understanding, we can take conventional fan regulator and advanced or phase angle control regulator. So whatever you have right now. So this is conventional. This is conventional regulator. That is a combination of rotary switch and rheostat. You can see here. This is the rotary switch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this is the contactor. This is rotary switch. And in between 1 and 2 and 3, 3 and 4 and 4 and 5, there will be resistance is placed. It is nothing but the rheostat. How will you change the speed? Supply voltage is maximum 220 voltage. That will be connected to the plunger or contactor. That will connect this plunger or contactor to the one position. So what happens? Resistance is this, and this. These four resistors are connected in series with the motor. That means maximum voltage drop frequency. Okay. So let me say 25% voltage drop frequency here, 25 here, 25 here, 25 here. So total is 100%. So right now, if you put here this contactor to the one position, so 100% voltage drop frequency. No voltage is equal to the motor. Sorry, somewhat calculation mistake. 15%. Let me take 15% here, 15% here, 15% here, and 15%. So total 75% voltage drop frequency whenever your contactor contact with the one position. So remaining 20%, 25% is supply given to the fan. So what is power consumption here? Can you measure? Yes, I square R. R1 plus R2 plus R3 plus R4 square. Oh, sorry. Into R1 plus R2 plus R3 plus R4 into whatever the current flow. V by R plus Z. So that much of current pass, that is square of that current multiplied by R1, R2, R3. So that much of power consumed by this, and then consumption of the motor. So basically, this fan having a 40 watt power consumption. and this regulator having a 60 watt power consumption. So what is total power consumption? 100 watt. If you put meter here, so it measures 60 watt power consumption as well as 40 watt power consumption. And what is actual power consumption to take place here? Only 40. So here I put some indicator or control mechanism to control the speed of the fan. But this regulator having a more power consumption as compared to this fan. So obviously this method is useless. Okay. Now, recently what we use? We use TRIAC and DIAC based fan regulator. Okay. You can see here, this is the internal circuitry, physical circuitry, and this is the basic circuitry of that fan regulator. One TRIAC is connected. TRIAC is nothing but the one anti-parallel thyristor connected. And of this anti-parallel thyristor is nothing but TRIAC. And for the triggering of TRIAC, we use DIAC. And how will you trigger? You give some time or give some logic for the triggering. That will be time provided by RC circuit. Simple circuit. R into C is equal to RC. And what is the time constant of this RC circuit? We have 10 milliseconds for positive half cycle. So you have maximum time 10 milliseconds. So T is equal to R into C. You can find out on 10K and 100K. 110K multiplied by 0.1 microfarad. Okay, so you can find out. So whenever you change this resistance, your phase angle voltage is changed, and if phase angle is changed, that means voltage also. You can easily control the speed. Now what about power consumption? You have to calculate the power consumption of this 136, or you can say track. Power consumption of this track. Let me say, internal voltage drop of this device is 0.7. Okay, and whatever the current flow through this device, load current, for example, 0.4 ampere. Okay, internal resistance of this device is in milliohm after conduction. So I square R. I square 0.4 square into R, milliohm. So milliwatt. Okay, 0.4 ampere raised to square multiplied by milliohm, internal resistance after conduction of this device is in milliohm. So just multiply both things. So you have power consumption is in milliohm. What is the power consumption of this conventional regulator? Is in 60. So now you can conclude that is how our power electronics devices change the. This is the oldest method. Okay, so it is efficient method. And this is the waveform. Now, what about size? Sizes matter mainly. This is your auto transformer size. You can see this is the rheostatic method for the voltage regulation, and this is TRIAC. There is only one. This is the thyristor. Okay, so two thyristors needed here. Anti-parallel. If you take TRIAC one BT136, then only one. So you can compare the size. Okay. Easily install B. You can go. Now, काफी स्टूडेंट को ऐसा लगता है कि पावर इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स कैसे आएगा, बहुत हार्ड सब्जेक्ट है, बेसिक क्लियर नहीं है. तो पावर इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स को पढ़ने के लिए, अंडरस्टैंड करने के लिए कोई भी बेसिक की इतनी जरूरत नहीं है. मैंने स्टार्टिंग कहाँ से किया? नॉर्मली फ्रॉम वन स्विच. सो इफ यू अंडरस्टैंड द स्विच, यू कैन इजीली अंडरस्टैंड द पावर इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स सर्किट. क्यों, कैसे? कोई भी सर्किट उठा लो, वो एक ही सर्किट है, चॉपर सर्किट. बताता हूँ मैं आपको कैसे. सो डोंट गो फॉर द रट्टा. रटने से क्या होगा कि आपको सर्किट की पोजीशन ये सब वो याद रखना पड़ेगा, लास्ट टाइम में सब मिक्स हो जाएगा। तो ऐसा करने की जरूरत नहीं है। हाउ टू अप्लाई द टेक्निक, हाउ टू अप्लाई द टेक्निक? First thing, see the supply. What supply is connected? And second thing, what is the load? According to that, you have to put your switch in particular manner. Let we start from chopper. This is chopper circuit. Okay. This is a chopper. Can you see which chopper is present here? Step down chopper. Okay. Now, if I remove this diode, then what is circuit? This circuit is nothing but the switch only. Supply is connected, load is present, and in between one switch is present. So if you switch on and off, according to that, your output voltage. Okay. So circuit is simple, and same circuitry apply for the other circuit. Rectifier में भी same circuit use कर सकते हैं, हाफ ब्रेड में भी सेम आता है, इन्वर्टर में भी, इन्वर्टर में भी सेम आता है, रेगुलेटर में भी सेम सर्किट आती है, साइक्लो कन्वर्टर में भी सेम आएगा, या एडवांस पावर इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स में भी जाओगे, दैट मीन्स HVDC ट्रांसमिशन में जाओ, या फिर SNPS UPS में जाओ, या फिर ये फ्लेक्सिबल AC ट्रांसमिशन में जाओ, कहीं पे भी जाओ, सर्किट रिमेन सेम. इट इज नथिंग बट द स्विच एंड द लोड. Now let me take half wave rectifier. This is chopper, that means DC to DC converter. Fixed DC to variable DC. Okay. This is a rectifier, half wave rectifier. That means you have AC supply. You have the load. Now I need only one half cycle. Positive or negative. If you need positive half cycle, then you have to connect your device in this manner. If you need negative half cycle, then you reverse your this device, you get current like negative. So, what is the difference between this circuit and this circuit? Nothing. One switch present is here, same switch is present here. Supply is here, load also present, load also present. Circuit you can see. What is the difference? Supply okay. Full wave rectifier. Full wave rectifier में देखो 4 डिवाइस है, लोड है, सप्लाई है, कैसे ये सर्किट सेम है? Let me see. What is this? Here source is connected, one switch is present here, then load, then again one switch and then supply. Okay, तो यहाँ से मैं दो सीरीज कर दूं स्विच को, तो क्या फर्क पड़ेगा? Nothing. Both switch operate at a time. That means it acting as a one switch. So what happened? Here I put two switches in series to the load. Circuit remains same. One supply is present, one supply is present here. One load is here, one load is here, and one switch. In this case, I put two devices in series. So full wave rectifier is nothing but the chopper, nothing but the half wave rectifier. Oh, you know what? It says half wave. कह सकते हैं ये चॉपर जैसे ही है. Let me see. Supply, switch, load, bridge. Okay. What about full bridge? Again, 4 devices present, one load is present, one source is present. So how this chopper? Let me see. You can see here. Supply is present here. Switch is connected in series to the load. Same circuitry like a chopper, like a half rectifier. What about fan regulator? Fan regulator, what is regulator? Here in half wave rectifier, what we see, I need positive obstacle, so we put thyristor in this way. If I need negative obstacle, so connect this device in reverse manner. So what happened? Current reverse to flow through the device. So I put both the devices in anti-polar manner, so we get positive as well as negative obstacle like this. यहाँ पे भी setting है. Chopper. So don't go for the rutta. Power electronics में बुक खोल के कोई भी सर्किट देख लो, it is nothing but the chopper. It is nothing but the half rectifier. But क्या ध्यान में रखना है? कौन सा सप्लाई है और क्या लोड है और क्या रिक्वायरमेंट है. ओके, नाउ अब तक जो देखा वो पावर सिस्टम सॉरी पावर इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स का इंट्रोडक्शन था कि कैसे पावर इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स काम लगेगा. अभी देखते हैं पावर जनरेशन. तो जनरली पावर जनरेशन का नाम आएगा तो आप पहले बोलोगे कि यार थर्मल पावर स्टेशन, हाइड्रो पावर स्टेशन, गैस स्टेशन, बायोगैस पावर प्लांट, टाइडल पावर प्लांट, विंड टर्बाइन, सोलर. तो विंड टर्बाइन, सोलर सिस्टम ये लास्ट में है. मैं अभी पहले लेता हूँ इसको, क्योंकि रिसेंट सिनेरियो जो काम कर रही है पावर जनरेशन में, दैट बेस्ड ऑन सोलर सिस्टम, विंड एंड टाइडल, न्यूक्लियर आल्सो. If you go for solar generation, in solar generation, our whatever the energy is generated, that is in DC, and that is not fixed. आप सुबह 9 बजे सन सोलर का वोल्टेज देखो और शाम को 5 बजे वोल्टेज देखो, और दोपहर में 12 बजे 9 2 3, every time your voltage is different. And what is our grid voltage? That will be same, fixed anytime. So how to maintain that voltage? Okay, for that we use MPPT, maximum power point tracking. Maximum power point tracking, that means what amount of power you have to deliver into the grid. What is the grid power? According to that you have to deliver. What is the voltage? Whenever you synchronize two systems, AC system, then you have to, what we have to maintain? We have to maintain the voltage level and you have to maintain the frequency level. Okay, right now our generation is DC, so what do you have to maintain? We have to maintain. How to maintain that voltage? By buck converter or by push converter. It is nothing but a clock. MPPT कुछ है नहीं, तो अलग सर्किट नहीं. It is a combination of buck and push converter. But still our energy is in DC. If you want to feed this energy into the grid, then what you have to do? You have to convert DC into the AC. You cannot directly feed into the transmission line. You have to sense the voltage and sense the frequency, phase difference, and then first your inverter set that voltage, set that frequency, set that phasor angle. Then you feed this voltage into the or feed this power into the grid. And for that we use static switch, the static parallel devices between inverter and load. So here power electronics is majorly used. Okay, and this is your future. Second, wind turbine. So basically what happens, your wind is uncertain. कभी कभी एकदम आ जाती है, कभी कभी slowly आता है, कभी नहीं आता है. So every time your wind turbine cannot run at fixed speed. And what is the basic function of the induction generator? 120 F by P. N is equal to 120 F by P, or Pn upon 120 is equal to F. So that means F is dependent on speed. If your speed is constant, frequency is constant. Same thing, and if I make it like that, if your speed is constant, also voltage constant. But here, if you consider this wind turbine, your speed is not constant, wind speed is not constant. That means your wind turbine speed is not constant. That means your frequency is not constant, voltage also not constant. What do you have to do? No.
Sorry, Dr. Sir, we have a time limit, it's like 1:30. So, sorry once again to interrupt you, sir. Here we have a time limit, 1:30 to 2:30, sir.
Okay, no worries.
So, anybody having any kind of questions, you just message me or WhatsApp me, so I can forward to Mullah sir by the mail, right? And
Also
yes,
tell him for feedback. Main thing is
yes, sir. Yes, any kind of the feedback you want to give, just mail me and message me, so I can easily forward to Mullah sir by the mail. And once again, thank you, Mullah sir, for enlightening and entertaining presentations on the importance of the power electronics in the power system applications. We are grateful for the times and the effort that you have to share your knowledge with us, sir. So again, I am thanking you on the behalf of the Bharat University and the entire family of the Bharat University. Thank you so much, sir. Okay, so unfortunately, actually laptop also switch off for us. So here we are concluded our sessions. Thank you so much.